Hello there, this is Phi. We're checking out Godfist demo. This is going to be the first playtest I've done in a while. I'm in a new place, and as such, you're going to hear the acoustics at the moment are absolutely terrible. I apologize for that. I have to address that in the future, but right now it's just the way it is. But that's okay. We're going to see what we can do for giving some feedback for this game. Let's go ahead and get rid of the overlay and yeah, get into this. So I've not seen anything past this page here. This is of course the demo version. This is like the first update of the demo. Game in development. It says welcome to the gameplay demo of Godfist. This is foremost gameplay demo is in alpha stage, so there will be bugs and a lot of placeholder art. Currently there's no way to rebind controls in game. This will be available at a later stage of development. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if settings works. It does. It seemed like I had to click on that twice, but that's okay. Resolution full screen windowed. Okay, so I'm going to be interested to know. Yeah, so this seems to be in borderless window mode. In fact, this doesn't appear to do anything to click on these. We've got our mouse sensitivity there. That's important. Field of view is at 90 at the moment, which I think is kind of low. Probably tweak that in game if I can. Sound is 75 music. Alt controller setup. I don't know what that is. I don't know if these work yet. But yeah, so in any case. Oh, okay, there's. Oh. So I think it did kick into exclusive full screen mode after I clicked on apply. That appears to be what's going on here. So yeah, that's really important for getting your input latency down, which is really important for a first-person game. So that's something I'm always looking for here. So I think that's working. This obviously doesn't really tell you like what mode it's in currently, so that's a little confusing. But yeah, so let's go ahead and click on new game then, and looks like we have class selection at the moment. I believe we only have one. That's what it looks like. So we've got speed, physical damage, poise damage, block, jump, alt, and roll cost. The fiercest of all Greek soldiers, rigorous training and sharp spears makes quick work out of any foe that stands in their way. Soul spear, parry, and kick. Jump, alt. Interesting. I guess we just click on this and see what happens. I guess we start looking up at the sky. Sensitivity feels a little high, I think. All right. So first of all, we can't access the settings from the pause menu at the moment, so it looks like I have to like go back here in order to try to tweak my sensitivity, which is not ideal. Still feels way too high for me. It's a little hard to read that text now. It's on that dark background there. So yeah, especially if you're like, is that even doing anything? I don't know if that even works. Yeah, if you're like in the middle of playing and you're like, I feel like I should change this. You don't want to just go to quit. I mean, that's obvious. I'm sure the developer will put a settings menu in here, but yeah, at the moment I don't. Oops. I don't think this is actually doing anything. No, I don't think so. That's unfortunate. So I guess I'm gonna have to try to play with a super high sensitivity here, or maybe I can open up my mouse driver here and change the DPI or something. Let's see, what are we at? Oops. Oh crap. Okay. Looks like we're at 1600. All right, I put it at 800. Let's. Now my cursor is super slow, but see if I can. Yeah, it feels a little more reasonable, anyways. I guess. Yeah. So, anyways, I guess we're gonna see what we can do here. So if I hit escape to pause, we've got movement speed, and it's got like a little plus percentage, or presumably if we get upgrades, jump height. So these are all the same. Max block is 4. I don't remember that. I don't know. Okay, so looks like we can punch. We've got what appears to be a block, kind of a floaty jump, not much air control. Yeah. I guess it's water. So you can't click and hold. Sometimes you get the screen shake and sometimes you don't. Kind of weird. Also, I noticed that it feels like the timing of it. This is really nitpicky. This is the way I tend to play test, but the timing of the effects, like the hit stop and the screen shake, kind of don't quite jive. So it seems like you've got. I think there's a hit stop and then there's like a screen shake at the same time, but the hit stop kind of stops the screen shake. So you get the hit stop effect and then the screen shake after the hit stop, if that makes sense. So it kind of feels like it's delayed the screen shake part. So to me, it feels like there's like a sort of a disjoint there. A little weird. Are you gonna tell me things? Press E or something? Oh, what? Okay, so something at the bottom is rotating. Wait, whoa. Okay.
Have a look at my wares.
Oh, okay. We got Joe for in here. We've got Shop of Wonders. Do I have money? I'm looking all over the screen. I don't see any indicate. Oh, gold right here. Okay. You might want to like put that in the window here or something. It can just be a nice little quality of life detail. Reduces the ability roll cost by 3 gold coins. So apparently you roll for abilities and then it costs money or something. 6% faster movement speed. Minor reduced cost. Major reduced cost. Okay. Oh. So apparently I can hit him
Take a peek at my merchandise
from over here. At least that indicates that we're not punching with like a ray cast in the center of the screen or something. It seems to be like we've got colliders over there. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe they just put a massive collision box on the guy or something that was like standing inside of. Oh, okay. Here we go. Space, punch, left mouse button, right mouse button, QER for 3 abilities, escape. Okay, so yeah, that does. It costs 25 gold apparently to get like a random ability, and then I guess I'm guessing if you press the button again, then it uses up whatever that was, whatever's down there right now. I feel like I should have like a sprint or something to move a little faster. Oh, these are all just same thing here. Whoa. Oh crap. Okay, I'm gonna tweak the field of view a bit if I can here. I feel like it's a little bit small. I don't know what I usually set this to. It's kind of annoying how you have to click the back button there. All right, looks like it's a little more field of view. It feels like we're running faster. It looks a little weird, but it's the way it is. All right, I mean, oh, you got fall damage. Okay, interesting, interesting sound design there. I was kind of trying to grab the. I don't know if you can grab the. Grab the ladder midair here. Oh. Okay, so oh, that's weird. So you do have to look up, and then if I press S, then it kind of backs away. So I'm assuming if I look down, it'll go down. Jump button doesn't do anything here. All right, well that works well enough. Oh, that was. I thought that sound was applied to me falling to my death. Apparently it was just this song was starting. I'm picking these up. So it feels a little bit. Do I punch these? Oh. Is there like a rhythm to punch the fastest you can or something? So I think the hit stop effect kind of makes it feel like it's slower. Like if you're doing this, it's like, oh, you just punch this fast, but then like as soon as you start actually hitting someone, it's like slower. It's kind of annoying. Like it feels like it won't let me punch as, what the hell? As fast as I feel like I should. Whoa, what would? That was very weird. Okay, and it seems like I think what might be happening is if I press the block button in the middle of hit stun, I think I might just eat the input. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the right mouse button, like I punch and then hold the right mouse button, like I'm holding it down right now. It's not doing that, so that's probably just a bug. I guess I'm supposed to punch these things that fall down. I don't see anything happening when I do that, but so I haven't used any of these abilities. I guess I just like spam the 3 buttons and then I can. It looks like you can like punch out of blocking. I guess I can punch them both at the same time. So presumably he's not coming back. So I still see the stuff spinning at the bottom. Am I supposed to press those buttons again? Oh, okay. Can you like if you watch it down there, can you time it like the like if you see the pattern or something, can you make it stop on the one you want? Interesting. Okay, I was looking down at the bottom of the screen for a moment there. So I have to say, oh, okay, that was weird. Oh, that doesn't actually block? What the crap? And okay, so I forgot to mention this before, but you should really have the escape key that opens up this menu, which isn't a pause menu. Did I say? I think I said the word block instead of pause. Did I speak wrong there? But You should really have the escape key also close this menu instead of having to use a different input to close it. It should be the same input, so that would help a lot, especially since there's apparently a lot of tension here, so I don't want to like find where my mouse is and all that stuff. But yeah, it would really be nice to be able to pause here because I like to stop and talk about things. I'm gonna turn down my volume a little bit. It's probably a little bit loud in the capture because this music is actually a bit on the loud side. And which is a really common problem I find playtesting people's games, actually. So something to be aware of is people tend to make stuff like way too loud. So you know, I always just say open up some other games or YouTube or something on your computer and just kind of compare your own volume levels to that. But the other thing is, like with this background music, I can basically hear myself punching, and then this background music is quite loud. But it's gonna loop. It is gonna loop. With this type of game, it helps a lot to be able to hear your enemies moving around, so you have this sort of spatial awareness because you can't see in every direction where the enemies might be. But if you can hear them running around and stuff, that gives you a lot of cues as to what's going on around you. So just having something as simple as footstep sounds adds a lot in that regard, but again, like having the music so loud is gonna make it harder to hear things like that. So now, does that just fully mitigate damage? Is that... Oh. I didn't think this was actually going to end. It just kind of lasted for... Whoa. Wait, wasn't there a glowing thing? Or... I guess the glowing thing turned into this? I didn't... Oh, okay. Okay, so... That's weird. So apparently this floor like materialized above me. I remember seeing the developer share like a video or something of like some visuals of like the floor appearing after you, the floor above you appearing after you clear this floor or something. If I didn't know that, I'd probably be a little confused because I didn't really quite see what was happening up here. So I kind of missed some of the effects here, but presumably... Okay. Flaming Fist conjures a ball of flaming hot fire that can hit enemies from a distance, accept gift, or reroll for 500. So... Oh, so that just goes into your randoms? Okay, so I think it mentioned something about like a deck building sort of thing, so I guess... I wonder if this is like breakable or something. It does seem like there's a rhythm. So, okay, I think your hit stop effect is like eating inputs, basically. So that's one of those things. It's quite annoying because if you're spamming the button and it's like it feels like your punches aren't coming out with a consistent timing and rhythm, it can be pretty annoying. So I think what you might want to do is have your hit stop have like a buffer for the input, so whatever inputs you input during the hit stop would come out at the end of the hit stop, or that kind of thing. Yeah, so just a couple things I noticed. I mentioned the punching just kind of feels a little off just because of the fact that it's slower. In addition to what I just mentioned, those things together make it feel like kind of unsatisfying, because I just want to like machine gun punch, and obviously it doesn't have to be extremely fast, but it just feels very inconsistent. Like I can punch really fast, and then like when I'm actually punching something, it's like a lot slower, and you know, the timing is kind of variable. Kind of seems to depend on how fast I'm clicking the button, if I'm getting like a very particular rhythm or whatever. I don't know. It's all a little bit weird feeling. So the big thing that occurs to me is with the randomized abilities at the bottom. Whoops. I don't care for the idea that you have to look down at the bottom to see what button is going to do what. Like, I'm sure that's something you could kind of get used to doing, but I kind of miss the idea of having like a particular button do a particular effect. Especially if you're trying to make like a really kind of fast-paced action game. Like if I want to kick somebody, I want to use kind of like a kick button. Whereas this one, it could be like any of the buttons could be kick, or it could be some other thing, or, you know, this or that. And the only way for me to find out is to kind of take my attention away from things, to look down at the bottom of the screen and then like figure out, okay, which button is that? And then like press that button. Like there's just a lot more of a disconnect there between just like in my mind saying, oh, I want to kick now, I'm pressing kick. You know, the amount of time that it takes is going to be a lot different. So I feel like that's kind of hard to come to terms with this kind of gameplay. What exactly is that? Donate 500 gold and in return receive 50% pain reduction. So this is, my pain is at 165%. I don't actually know what pain does. Maybe it's like a health thing, but I don't know. Maybe it's like a Smash Bros type thing. Like do I get knocked? Do I only die if I get knocked off the tower or something like that? Wait a minute, that wasn't 50%. Oh, okay. 50, okay. I thought it meant 50% of this number, not 50% like as in this is a percent, so they're subtracting 50 from this. That was a little bit ambiguous, but I get it. Okay. Makes sense. All right, click not now. I was hitting like escape and stuff, and that didn't bring me out of that menu. Little details like that sometimes matter. Like if sometimes I just want to use a different input method, you know, like I don't necessarily want to grab my mouse and move it over to here instead of just being able to slap the escape key. Sometimes that's easier. So just a good idea in general, if you have any kind of menu or pop-up or whatever on the screen, just use the escape key as like a back out button just for like literally everything, and that is kind of a nice little quality of life detail usually. Yeah, so I noticed the enemies, they take a while to beat up. A little time consuming. You could call it kind of bullet spongy. This isn't bullets, but sort of feels that way. And in general, that floor, like I wasn't trying to speed run that by any means, but it did feel like it took a long time before anything happened. It just kind of gave me a sense like the game wasn't going to change or anything. It was just going to keep going on like that forever. But it did eventually end. It's really, really weird how the enemies just suddenly fly off. It doesn't seem like connected to my punches or anything. It just seems like they just kind of suddenly fly away. Wow, okay. I think I blocked that. I didn't go oof, so... Oh, okay, so my yeah, sometimes the hit stop is preventing my block from coming out, and that's not good. Oh, I can't. Whoa. Okay, so right now I'm hitting the right mouse button. It's not doing anything. It also feels like the sensitivity got slower all of a sudden. Can you? Oh, wait a minute. So again, I can't pause to like to talk or anything, but I think in the bottom there's a little shield thing that's says 0 now, so maybe there's like a limited number of blocks you can do, which I guess makes sense. Okay, so it makes sense that you can't block everything forever. But how do you get them back? Do you have to like kill an enemy to like get a pickup or something? I don't know. I'd like to know about that, because it definitely makes sense to limit those, but I'm also, you know, I'm wary of the idea of like, how do you get it back? Is that just is that going to work well? I mean, you could have it like be a recharge over time kind of thing. You know, there's so many different ways to do that, so I'm like wondering if the way to do that is something I would like or not. And I don't really know, because I don't know how you get it back yet, but something like that, I think it's a good idea to have it like rechargeable or something. Just have it be a time-based thing. So another thing I noticed is if I'm in this, well, right now, so if I click the right mouse button, it doesn't block, but it does seem to... Is it happening anymore? Maybe it's not happening anymore. I noticed it seemed like a bug where it was affecting my mouse sensitivity. I don't think it's happening right now, but I'm guessing... Actually, I don't know. I was thinking maybe because when you blocked normally, it was like it kind of slowed down your mouse or something. And so maybe there's like a bug where if you didn't have any more blocks, it would kind of make this slowdown happen or something, but then it wouldn't anymore. I don't know. It's hard for me to understand what was going on, because it's like not happening anymore. So I don't know. But something seemed a little funny. Okay, I couldn't see that guy doing his thing. So another thing, it helps to have audio cues. It really makes everything better with this kind of game, because visual cues just aren't really enough on their own. So some of these punches aren't hitting. I don't know what exactly is going on with that. Okay. It's a little hard in all the mayhem and all the hit stopping. I mean, obviously just like running in the middle of the guys is not like a good idea. Whoops. But so sometimes when you punch guys, they go into like a stun, but sometimes they don't. It's a little bit like, I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know if I punch them if they're going to get stunned or if they're not, or if they're going to hit me and that kind of thing. So it seems like if I hit them twice, then they get stunned, maybe. And I don't know, like there's different looking guys, so I don't know if they behave differently or whatever. My gosh, they all take a ton of punches though. I know I'm not like using the other abilities, because it's kind of hard for me to think about that. Like, it just seems like I have to really go out of my way to to use these other abilities. And like, I don't really want to think about the gold cost associated with these. Like, that's just too many things to want to consider, I think, for like an action game like this. Like, if I need something, I'm like spending my gold on it. I don't think I oh, it's like a shield bash. I don't know what that was. Okay, that just hits one enemy. It's kind of a little anticlimactic. What does that do? The shield thing. I guess it'll block an attack or something, but it's so brief. I thought it might be like a shield bash or something. I don't know. It didn't seem to do anything, but maybe it's to like deflect a projectile or something. I don't really know, but... Okay, well there I go. So yeah, so just some general thoughts. Kind of as I was saying a moment ago, I don't really like the idea of like having to spend gold on just getting and using the abilities. Like the gold obviously is such a valuable resource, or it should be in a game of this nature where you're trying to get upgrades, right? And gold is something that you would use to get upgrades. Like there's a guy right here
Take a peek at my merchandise.
who wants to sell you upgrades. So having to spend gold just to use the upgrades, it just seems like too much. And like I said, it's just more than I want to think about. I don't want to be like pondering whether I should use my gold to buy an upgrade at this very moment in order to block this attack that's flying at me or something like that, or if I should save it to, you know, buy something I'm trying to work towards and that kind of thing. Like that's too much to think about in the middle of a action game like this, I think, where you're trying to punch the hell out of stuff, and I don't think that feels very good, just to kind of put it in a vague way. So I can't say I like that. These abilities themselves, I haven't used them very much, but it doesn't feel like they don't feel very powerful, I guess, I would say. Like this fireball thing, it's like I just kind of shot one enemy and it just kind of, you know, hit them, and it presumably did some amount of damage. I don't know how much damage, whatever it did, but it just like, you know, just hit one enemy and that was it. And it was kind of like, okay, you know, like, I guess it's not nothing, but I didn't really have a sense of having a lot of value, if that makes sense. And from what I've seen of them so far, I don't know if I should make that judgment yet or not. I mean, obviously I could get more familiar with it, but it didn't seem like everything was that exciting and high value and stuff like that. You can understand that, like, you know, having a kick might be good in a situation where you could like quickly knock an enemy off the tower or something like that. But I don't know. So in general, the pacing seems really, really slow. So it just takes a huge amount of time to punch these enemies to death. And I'm just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. I'm just punching and kind of backing away and punching back away. Not really interacting in much of any way beyond that. And it just takes so long for the enemies to die and for the stage to kind of move on to the next level or whatever. I feel like the pacing could be improved a lot. And yeah, I think your main interaction here being punching, like that's very obviously kind of the central interaction of the game is punching. I think you really need to kind of nail the feel of the punching itself, which I don't think you've really done in my opinion, because I feel like once you actually start punching the enemies, it just doesn't feel right. Like it just feels kind of slow and janky, and I think that hit stop is just kind of messing everything up, and you know, it's not necessarily the nature of hit stop itself, but maybe just the way it's implemented here or whatever. The way the enemies respond to it is a little weird. It seems kind of a little bit delayed, maybe. It's certainly weird when they fly off. Like things aren't really connected to the punches. It doesn't feel that way. I guess I can just walk over those. It seems like some of those things that fall down, like you can punch them. It makes a sound when you try to do it. I don't really know if that's a thing or I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think it'd be nice if these things kind of magneted towards you rather than have to run around and... I mean, you don't have to get that close, but it just kind of feels nicer if you get sort of close-ish and they just kind of draw into you. Yeah, it feels kind of awful the way the rhythm of the punch is so inconsistent. I can try and sort of match the rhythm with my own timing of pressing the mouse button, but it looks ridiculous. Oh, I didn't see that guy. So yeah, audio cues help a lot, not only for like footstep sounds, but oh, that guy actually leads. I didn't know he was leading the shots there. But yeah, when people are doing their telegraphs, if you have audio cues with that, it can help a lot, especially like guys like this ranged guy. You have to be a little careful with the audio just so you don't like have too many sounds playing at once with like a ton of guys. But some enemies, it like really makes a lot of sense to have more audio cues for their telegraphs and stuff, and usually like ranged enemies. It's a good idea. But yeah, I would just start with adding cues for like everything, and then if it ends up being too much, then you can think about what to do from there. But I would err on the side of having too many rather than too little. Alright, so these abilities that I haven't been doing anything with, I'm gonna try and... Come on. He's not... Okay. Apparently I did not time that right, so that was lame. Yeah, I don't like thinking about having to think about which button I'm going to press to use the ability, because like I have to take my finger off of the movement to press these buttons. Which would probably be fine if it was consistent. Like if I knew that if I press this button, it's always going to do X or Y, then I wouldn't have to think about it so much. I could do it kind of quickly, but what I have to do is I have to look down at the bottom of the screen, then I have to think about, okay, which button is that? And then I have to think about, I look back up at the screen, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to hit this enemy with a kick or whatever, so I have to like, start getting into position, but then I have to kind of remind myself which button I have to aim for when I'm going to kick, because again, it's not consistent, so I don't have it kind of programmed into my head that that's the kick button that I can just reach for. I have to kind of keep reminding myself of it, if that makes sense. So it just kind of complicates everything. So something I would have to think about more, but there might be other things, other ways to approach this kind of thing, such as well, you could certainly limit the number of abilities. So instead of like having 3, you could have just one button be the ability button, something like that. Obviously that has pros and cons, but that would, if nothing else, simplify the controls, which would mitigate what I've just been talking about. Excuse me. You could have... Yeah, I don't know. There's other ways to do this, obviously, but it might be kind of going away from this sort of quote-unquote deck building approach that you've got currently, where it's about drawing, you know, quote-unquote drawing random things. Yeah, I mean, for me, at the current implementation, I don't think it's really working as well as it could. I think I'd rather have something that was more consistent, you know, with the controls and the abilities and everything. Even the fact that you kind of use up your blocks, I still don't know how you get the blocking back, but I feel like this, in this kind of gameplay where you're primarily running and punching, I feel like the blocking is something that feels good and is fun to do. So the fact that you can only do it a very limited number of times is kind of a detriment to the game, because you're not taking advantage of this thing, which is not only fun, but it adds another layer to what you're doing at any given moment. So I don't think you want to restrict that as much as you are. I think you could benefit a lot from kind of easing off or removing those restrictions and incorporating the block more frequently into the gameplay. Because like a lot of the time I'm not even using the abilities or anything. I'm just kind of punching, and then I kind of back up and then keep punching, and then kind of back up, and, you know, move out of the way and then keep punching. And it's like, if I can do more things like use the block and stuff like that, and it's not costing me all these resources that are limited, you know, that are keeping me from wanting to use them, then that'll just add more complexity into what I'm doing, and it'll just be more engaging, I think. So I feel like I should at least attempt to test out these abilities a little bit more. So okay, so I'm guessing. Oh, it didn't work that time. Okay, so maybe you have to hit the shield. I think maybe it's like a parry when they're doing an attack. You can hit them with the shield thing. All right, there you go. Interesting. I keep getting three of the same. I'm just kind of like spamming one button right after the other. I don't know, maybe there's just like a rhythm to it, that if you press the buttons like that, you always get three of the same with the right rhythm. I don't know if that's true or not, but I guess that just kills them instantly, at least these guys. Oh, that was I wasn't really aiming that properly. I didn't really see where the dot was on the screen there. Yeah, because when I'm punching normally, I'm not really looking at the little dot in the center of the screen. I'm just kind of thinking about, you know, where the middle of the screen is or whatever. I'm not actually aiming with the dot. So I guess I should start aiming properly if I'm going to throw these spears. It's weird how much of a delay there was between the spear hitting that guy and him flying back and that kind of thing. What happened there? Did the spear hit the projectile? Oh, okay. I expected he would have some kind of a stun effect from getting kicked, but he just fully tanked it and then shot me. And yeah, it's pretty stupid when you use one of these abilities, but you're just slightly out of range or whatever. And you just waste it. It kind of feels lame. Actually, you could do something like with something like the kick or whatever. Just have it be so if it doesn't connect, then it doesn't get used up. That might be worth doing. So, do the enemies work like the player and they fly further when they take more damage? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Like instead of just punching them forever, I'm supposed to be actually knocking them off? Because that would have probably helped to have known that, I guess. Maybe I could have gone through this a little bit quicker. And yeah, I have a super creaky chair right now. I gotta do something about that. I put some grease on it or something. Stops time. Okay. Sure. It's gonna go into the goodie bag, I guess. And then how do you go up? I forgot. Okay, I didn't mean to do that, that's okay. A little bit annoying that you have to press the button again to make it stop rolling instead of it just doing it by itself. Okay. Ow. Okay, I tried to block that one, but it ate my input for the block button, so it was kind of lame. Okay, so once in a while it seems like the punches just don't connect. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm thinking if I punch the guy twice that it's gonna like interrupt his attack, right? So there was a time a few moments ago where I tried to punch a guy twice, but like the first punch just didn't connect for some reason. So like I only hit him once, and then he ended up hitting me. Well, there I go. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, I guess you're supposed to knock the guys off, which I guess I wasn't doing before. I should probably wrap this up. It is interesting, and I should probably... I assume that there's more things that I haven't seen in terms of upgrades and stuff. It seems like it takes a while, again, to get there. Even knowing that you have to knock the enemies off, it still takes a while to like actually do that. So yeah, I definitely feel like the pacing could be improved a lot, just to move things along more quickly. You definitely, if you want to make a game that's built around this progression of upgrades, I think it's really important to have more, to get upgrades at a good pace, to kind of engage the player with that kind of thing where they're, sort of mentally interested in what upgrades are going to come next and stuff. If you kind of trickle it out too slowly, it doesn't really have the same effect, kind of takes too long to get to that point, especially if you have this kind of situation where you can die or lose before you get very far, and then you have to start over, because that affects your pacing as well. If you keep having to start over, if you only get like one upgrade every time, and then you keep having to start over because you suck or whatever, you're not going to have a good time because you're not really getting to engage with the whole upgrade system. Whereas if you set the game up such that you are receiving a little bit more frequently upgrades and stuff, then you can start actually, engaging with that system more consistently. And oh, there's stuff here. Okay. then you can actually enjoy that, even if you're, even if you end up dying or whatever, before you get very far.
Gaze upon my goods.
Don't have enough. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm sure you get used to doing the 3 buttons. The more you play it, I'm sure the more you get used to that. But I do wonder, like, if you have this idea of deck building or whatever, and getting these upgrades and stuff, are there like any synergies or anything? Or are you just kind of getting random abilities? It doesn't seem to me like there's much in the way of synergistic properties from what little I've seen so far. So that kind of generally, if you have something that's deck building or roguelite or those types of systems, you want the upgrades to have some kind of synergistic property, so you can have something that resembles a build, right? Or I don't know if you are getting much of that in the current game here or not. I didn't really see. I mean, it just seems like you get some random abilities, like not seeing any interactions, I guess. Thus far. But yeah, I think the biggest things in terms of feedback I would give would just be I think the punching could feel a lot better. It feels so inconsistent, just the speed and the rhythm of the punching and everything. I find it deeply unsatisfying, actually, which is unfortunate because it feels like it's sort of like almost satisfying to just punch the hell out of everybody and then watch them go flying and that kind of thing. But the speed and the feel of the punching just seems so off, and then that combined with the reactions to the enemies is like completely disconnected from the actual like collisions of the punches. I don't know if you're trying to go for some kind of like dramatic effect where there's like a dramatic pause before they fly away or something like that, but it just feels like a disconnect. It doesn't really work, I don't think. So I think just making the punching feel better, and then like the pacing, tweaks to the pacing, I think those two things alone would make a big difference. And I'd like to like use the blocking more. I still don't know how that works in terms of like getting the blocks back. But your movement is really powerful as well, so you can like pretty much avoid everything with the movement, like avoid damage from what I've seen so far. So it's not like you need the blocking, but it could be. I just think it's fun to do, so that's the only reason why I really want to do it more. That, and it just, like I said, it adds a little extra layer of complexity where I think it is kind of needed to your basic moving and punching and fighting enemies. So I kind of want to, I wish I could do that a little bit more without running out of them. And yeah, I think that's probably all I'm going to give for feedback. And it's probably more than enough for you to have to watch for this video, so hopefully this was useful for you. I know I didn't get very far, but it's just the way it goes. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'm very interested to see where you go from here, and I guess I will see you in the next one.